Mic check, mic check.
We're gonna have to keep removing it. And I'd like to present the witness with exhibit 6. Well, yeah, shall I say the evidence? And then they can see it. Burped into the microphone. Deanne. I know. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first mock trial competition here at Clark University. I'm Taryn Huffman, a co-president of Mock Trial, and I'm glad that you could all make it here today to watch and support the mock trial. Thank you for attending. Everyone in the audience will serve as the jury for the present trial of Lane King versus State of Mississippi. If possible, if the jury could just move down a little bit and kind of be closer to the front so you can hear everything that everyone says. That will just help you guys out in the long run. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Clark's 2 mock trial teams. We'll start with the prosecution. You guys can introduce yourselves. Just let me stand up and say your name. Here, you can just use this.
I'm Kel Polito. I'm a prosecutor.
I'm Seth Kirlock, a prosecutor.
I'm Jazz Daughtry.
I'm Clara Pregler.
I'm Matthias Herman. I'm a witness.
I'm Daniel. I'm a witness of Luke Kristoff.
I'm Nevaeh, and I'm a witness.
Defense, you can introduce yourselves.
I'm Gary Gonzalez. I'm the head attorney of the defense.
I'm Theo Lynham. I'm defense attorney.
I'm Haley. I'm a defense attorney.
I'm DJ Mossop, Lane King playing suspect.
I'm Ariana Matlock, witness.
I'm Andrew Sass. I'm a witness.
As you all heard before, today is the first competition for the Mock Trial Club, and the 2 teams received their side for the trial by luck of the draw. The trial is being live streamed and recorded, and after reviewing the recording and receiving feedback from the judges, the teams will compete against each other again, but on the opposing sides. Thank you again for being here and for your participation. I also want to say thank you to our scorers for the competition, Sunil Malapati and Chris Peterson. Also, big thank you to our Clark alumni mentors, Maureen Kwan and Brendan Kwan, who provided guidance for the participants as they prepared for the trial. Last thing, if you guys are participating in the jury, please try to just fill in over here. And then I just want to welcome the judge to the courtroom.
We are here today to settle the matter of Lane King versus the State of Mississippi. Lane King, are you here? Could you and your defense attorneys please stand? And Mr. King, how do you plea in the case of in this case, you're charged with first-degree murder?
Not guilty.
Okay, please have a seat. Pre-trial matters. We would like to swear everybody in, So all witnesses who are going to testify today, please stand. This is a very serious matter. It's important that you tell the truth. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God. You may be seated. Are there any other pretrial matters to settle today?
Your Honor, I just want to be clear that the defense and the prosecution both has the same evidence. Yes, you have all the evidence. The prosecution has ran that by you. And I just want to be clear that we are allowed to walk around the well.
Yes. Do you have any objections to walking around?
No.
Okay, so granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, are you ready to begin? We will begin with the prosecution's opening arguments.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate you all for being here.
I thought we had to memorize the opening statement.
Excuse me, counsel, do you have an objection?
I thought we couldn't read the opening statement from a piece of paper. I thought we had to walk around and just say it.
You're allowed to have notes, but how they communicate is up to them.
Okay.
My name is Cale Polito. I'm the county district attorney. My team and I will be prosecuting Lane King today. Lane King has been charged by the state with first-degree murder. Under Mississippi law, a person commits first-degree murder when they deliberately and intentionally cause the death of another human being. The facts in this case will be made clear. The evidence will show that on March 25th, at the restaurant Magnolia's, Lane King intentionally caused the death of Connor Hastings. He did so by forcing him into a freezer with a knife, locking the door from the outside, and leaving him there, knowing that Connor would freeze to death. Connor did not die quickly. He did not die peacefully. He did not die painlessly. He died over hours. I'll go walk over here. Over at least 20 hours, possibly over 50. When that door closed behind him, Connor was wearing nothing but a tank top and shorts. Today you're going to learn about the defendant, Lane King's desperation. This desperation is why we're all here today. It fueled King's actions, it clouded his conscience, it corrupted him, and he used it to justify choosing profit over his best friend's life. This case is built on a trail of evidence that leads directly back to the defendant. You will hear from witnesses and see exhibits that reveal King's actions and his deliberate decision to kill. You will hear that their restaurant, Magnolia's, was failing. You will hear about the buy-sell agreement that guaranteed Lane King $500,000 if his business partner died. You will hear from the forensic accountant who King himself hired. You will hear from a witness that saw King force Connor back inside the restaurant with a knife. You will hear about the padlock that King had purchased just weeks before. And you will hear that only King's fingerprints are on the padlock. Today we ask that you find Lane King guilty for the murder of Connor Hastings and do justice for his family. Thank you.
Defense, are you ready for your opening statement? Please proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury today, today we are here for Lane King, an innocent man whose lifelong dream was to own a restaurant. And when he found a great business partner and business opportunity in Connor Hastings, he jumped at the choice because it was his lifelong dream. But as the case will show you, he was betrayed by his best friend. And I want to make something very clear to everyone here. Angry words are not a death sentence. We all lash out sometimes. When I come home from a long day of work and I want to eat my leftovers, and my roommate ate them before him, I do say some choice words, but those do not equal a death sentence. There's a very clear difference between a cold, planned out murder and just saying, I'm gonna kill you for that, over a text. Something very clear in difference. Today we're gonna go into his lifelong dream and the betrayal of it, how Connor Hastings was gambling money, stealing money from the restaurant, and causing it to go bankruptcy. What the prosecution failed to mention is that one of their witnesses, Luke Kristoff, was actually arrested first in the trial. So today, we're here to prove the innocence of Lane King, and angry words are not a death sentence.
And are you ready to call your first witness to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution calls Joe Walker to the stand.
Joe Walker, could you please approach and have a seat? And I will just remind you that you have been sworn in and that you have sworn to tell the truth.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ms. Walker. Your Honor, permission to proceed?
Proceed.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Joe Walker.
And what's your profession?
I'm a certified public accountant.
Now, could you briefly describe your educational background for the court?
Yes, I went to the University of Mississippi. I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I was the top of my class.
And after graduating, where did your professional career take you?
I went to go work for Arthur Anderson for 3 years, and then I left after that.
And what did you do after you left Arthur Anderson?
I started my own business. It's called the Account Abilities. It's a 6-member firm, and we focus on audits and forensics.
And what is forensic accounting?
It's when you look beyond, excuse me, it's when you look beyond the numbers to realize why your company is going downhill or why you're going inside of the red.
Now, Ms. Walker, I'd like to shift your focus to February 27th. Did anything happen that day?
Yes, I met Lane King, and he asked me to do a forensic audit work on his company.
Now, did the defendant give you a reason he wanted the investigation done?
He said that he wanted to know why his business was going in red and hoping that nobody was stealing from the company.
And what was your response?
I said, of course.
Did the defendant pay you?
Yes, he paid me out of his own pockets, $6,500.
Now, during your investigation, what kind of records did you examine in your forensic?
I seen the buy and sell agreement. Well, yeah, I seen the buy and sell agreement and canceled checks, canceled deposits, things that weren't processed through.
After looking at the buy and sell agreement, where did your investigation take you?
I interviewed both partners to see where it had the most control from.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with Exhibit 5.
Do you have any objections, defense?
You would like to see Exhibit 5? No objections?
No objections, proceed.
I'm just waiting for Exhibit 5 to show up. There it is. I just handed you Exhibit 5. Do you recognize it?
Yes,
What is it?
it's the buy and sell agreement.
Is it a fair and accurate copy of the buy and sell agreement?
Yes.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified Exhibit 5?
The record so reflects, and
Now-
jury, please take note of that.
Now, Ms. Walker, what is a buy and sell agreement?
It's an agreement that if one partner was deceased, that the other partner would be the beneficiary and would get $500,000.
For an insurance policy?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to March 17th. Did anything happen that day?
Yes, I told Lane that Connor was the reason that the business was going down and was inside of the red.
And over what time period could you say this occurred?
Maybe around 4 o'clock.
And around how much money was Connor caught stealing?
I believe that it was around $200,000.
What was the result of Magnolias from this loss?
That they were in the red and that they lost a lot of money.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, Ms. Walker, how did the defendant react?
First, the defendant was very surprised, but then the defendant got very full of rage, and he told me that I could leave and that Connor would pay for this.
Did you leave, Ms. Walker?
I did, but I turned back around because I forgot my favorite mechanical pencil.
And what did you hear?
I heard a very heated conversation between Connor and Lane, and I recall Lane saying that I'm gonna kill you to Connor.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, would you like to cross-examine this witness? Yes,
You stated that you were hired by Lane, correct?
Yes,
He hired you to help save the business.
yes.
He paid out of pocket $6,000.
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Sustained.
You stated in your statement that the audit found a buy and sell agreement.
Yes.
Do you have any evidence that Lane signed that agreement in malice?
Could you restate your question?
Do you have any evidence in what you found that Lane signed that in malice with ill intent?
Oh, no.
I'm going to ask no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. And do you wish to redirect this witness?
No, Your Honor. And this witness be dismissed?
Yes, thank you for your testimony. Would you like to call your next witness to the stand?
Yes, the prosecution will call Luke Kristoff to the stand.
And I would just like to remind you that you have been sworn in and you must be truthful.
Yes, ma'am.
May I proceed?
Proceed.
Could you please state to the court who you are and why you're here?
My name is Luke Kristoff. I'm from New Jersey, but I moved to Mississippi a while back.
Now, how are you familiar with Connor Hastings?
I occasionally lent money to people, and Connor was one of them.
Now, how would you say Connor was when it came to payment time?
Oh, he always paid on time. I ain't never had a problem with the guy.
Now, let's flip the scene a little bit. On the night of March 25th, where were you?
I was parked outside Magnolias in my black caddy
And what time did you get there?
around 9 o'clock.
And did you ever see anyone exit the building?
Yes, I seen Lane King exit the building.
And when you seen Lane King exit, did you also see Connor exit?
Yes.
When they both came outside, what would you describe that scene?
They were arguing and yelling.
And could you tell what they were arguing about?
It was about Connor.
Objection or assumption?
He could clearly hear what he said. It's clear in his witness statement. He also said that he heard exactly what was going on, what they were arguing about.
Can you restate the question for me, counsel?
What did you hear? What was the argument that you heard outside?
It is his direct observations of the argument, so I will overrule it. Continue, counsel, and yes,
Can you please answer that?
the question.
They was arguing about how Connor was ruining the business.
And what happened after they started arguing?
Lane King brandished a knife on Connor and forced him back into the restaurant.
And after this, did you ever see anyone come back outside the restaurant after they both went in?
Yeah, I seen Lane King come out the restaurant, and I waited around an hour, and Connor never left.
What time did Lane King come out?
Around 10:30 p.m.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And defense, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes.
Before his death, he still owed you $200,000, correct?
Yes.
So that's a significant amount of money out of your pocket, correct?
I mean,
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
I do believe that the money is key to this case, so I will allow it.
You stated in your witness statement when people are late on payments, you give firm reminders. Yes or no?
yes.
Do your firm reminders ever get physical?
No.
Yet you've been charged with assault, correct?
Yes.
So
Objection, Your Honor. More prejudice than probative.
Sustained. Sustaining it because this witness's character is not
Oh,
being
Your Honor,
tried.
we ask that that's stricken from the record and the jury disregard.
So done. The question will be stricken from the record and jury will disregard.
okay, that's fine. So is it true that you're testifying because prosecution offered you a deal?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
I will overrule it. I do believe this is definitely relevant to the case. Please answer the question.
Can you re-say it, please?
Did prosecution offer you a deal today?
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't take the deal? I mean, they said they were gonna drop all my charges. I mean, I'll take
Yes or
it.
no?
Oh, yes.
Your Honor, can you speak up and repeat what you just said?
I believe everybody was able to hear him.
Okay. So that would give you a strong incentive to testify in a way that helps prosecution, correct?
I just want to get out.
Objection. That's way more prejudice than helping the case. If they keep being hostile, I want them removed.
I will sustain this objection as to that is implying that there is ill intent. So please do strike that response from the record.
You said that you saw Connor and Hastings having an argument outside Magnolia's.
Yes.
Objection, asked and answered.
It was at night, correct?
Sustained.
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
It's simply dark at night, right? So how are you so you're 100% sure that you saw the knife at night?
Yes, there was a light.
You're out of time. No further questions.
Okay. Would you like to redirect this witness?
Yes, I would like to.
Please sit down, Mr. Kristoff.
So they asked the question, how did you see, where was this light located?
In the back alley.
Now, they said you were charged. Are you currently being charged with killing of Connor?
Nope.
Can you please point to the court who was the person that brandished the knife on Connor Hastings that night? I would like the court to know that he has identified the defendant, Lane King. No further questions, Your Honor.
It has been noted. Jury, please note that the witness did identify Lane King. You may now leave the stand. Do you have another witness to call?
Yes, the prosecution would now like to call Alex Finch to the stand.
Mr. Finch, I would just like to remind you that you have been sworn in and that you will tell the truth.
Will you please state your name for the record?
My name is Alex Finch.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm an investigator for the Fondren Police Department.
What is your experience with the Fondren Police Department?
So I've been an investigator for 20 years, and I've been working for 6 years as an undercover police agent.
Now I would like to shift your focus to the morning of March 28th, 2023. Did anything happen that day?
Yeah, I got a call from a patrol, and they told me they found the co-owner of Magnolia's dead at the cooler of his own restaurant.
What happened next?
I got to the scene, and I was trying to take all of Connor Hastings' things, and I saw his and I saw his phone, and I saw a call at 22:04 from that Saturday night.
Do you know the defendant?
Not personally, but I've interviewed him.
Would you
and-
identify the defendant today for the court?
Yeah, it's right there.
I would like the record to reflect that he has now identified the defendant, Lane King.
The records shall so reflect that. Jury, please note that he has identified Mr. King.
In speaking with the defendant, did you gather any new information?
Yeah, he told me that the closing of Magnolias will ruin him personally and professionally.
Who did you interview after King?
Joe Walker,
What did Joe state to you?
she talked to me about that if someone of the owners of Magnolias died, the other one will get money for it.
Who did you interview after Joe?
Lou Christoph,
And what did Lou state to you?
he told me he saw Lane King pointing with a knife to Connor Hastings at the restaurant.
What fingerprints were left at the scene?
Lane King's at the padlock and at the knife.
And whose fingerprints were not at the scene?
Nor Connor, not Lou Christoph.
I would now like to bring in Exhibit 6. Do you recognize this?
Yes,
What is it?
an incident report.
In this report, who all had keys to the padlock?
Connor, Lane, and the chef.
Now, after reviewing the evidence, what conclusions did you come to?
That Lou Christoph had he didn't need to kill Connor because he was getting money for him. And Lane was getting money from him if he was dying.
We would also like it to reflect that Exhibit 6 has now been authenticated. We would like it to be entered into evidence.
Do you have any objections, defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it has now been entered into evidence. Jury, please note that.
In your professional opinion, what do you think happened the day Connor died?
I think Lane King bought some locks, found out that Connor Hastings was stealing money from him, and went to his restaurant.
Objection, speculation.
Since this is his personal conclusion about what happened in examining the evidence, I will allow it. So I will overrule the objection.
Please finish answering the question.
I think Lane King bought some locks, found out that Connor Hastings was stealing money from him, went to the restaurant, killed him, and put him into the cooler, and locked the door.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Defense, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Detective, you arrived approximately 20 minutes after dispatch received the call, did you not?
Can you repeat the question, please?
You arrived on scene approximately 20 minutes after dispatch received the call.
Yes, sir.
And you were the lead investigator on the case, correct?
Yes.
So you were responsible for ensuring that all the evidence is properly collected and documented, correct?
Yes.
But you didn't personally collect every bit of evidence, did you? In
Not-
fact,
Your Honor, we would like him to give time for the witness to please answer the question.
Yes, counsel, please wait for the witness to respond to your questions.
sorry, Your Honor. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
You didn't personally collect every piece of evidence at the scene, did you?
Not everything.
So you can't say with confidence that the evidence was never contaminated, can you?
Your Honor, objection, that's speculation.
Again, since you have established him as somebody making the conclusions on what happened, I will overrule the objection and allow. Please answer the question.
Can you repeat the question, please? Slow.
So you can't say with confidence that the evidence was never contaminated, can you?
No.
Detective, some of the evidence was handled by other officers before you even saw it, correct?
Yeah.
So you're relying on others' work as part of your
Objection, Your Honor.
conclusions?
What is the relevance?
I will overrule that, counsel. I believe it's very relevant to the case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, there was no video footage that placed my client at the scene at the time of the crime, nor a confession. So, Detective, would I be wrong to suggest that your conclusion was based on minimal evidence?
I will say my conclusion was based on my 20 years experience.
Despite all your work, you cannot say with 100% certainty that Lane King committed the crime, can you?
99.99%.
But not 100?
Not 100.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Would you like to redirect this witness, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, please proceed.
In any case, can you ever tell with 100% certainty if anybody has ever truly done a crime?
No.
And even though you did not collect any of the evidence, do you trust your team to be handled it with confidence?
I do trust my team, yeah.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You may now step down from the bench. Thank you
Thank
for your
Your
testimony.
Honor, at this time, the prosecution rests. We have no more witnesses.
Okay, thank you. Defense, are you ready to call your first witness to the stand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who would you like to call?
We would like to call Jamie Kennedy to the stand.
Okay. And I would just like to remind you that you have been sworn in and you will tell the truth.
Jamie, how are we doing today?
Good, how are you?
Jamie, can I ask that you are
Yes.
a little closer to the microphone so everyone can hear you? Thank you.
You were cellmates with Luke Kristoff, correct?
Correct.
Can you point him out for the court?
Jury, I would like to note that he has identified Luke Kristoff.
When Luke Kristoff first arrived at the prison as your cellmate, did he tell you anything? What he was
Objection,
in
Your
for?
Honor. Leading.
Sustained. Please rephrase your question, counsel.
When he first arrived, did he mention anything what he was in for?
Yes, he mentioned he was in for the murder of Connor Hastings.
He confessed that to you?
Yes, he did.
When you first heard this, did you try to tell anyone?
Yes, I tried contacting Detective Finch, but he did not return my calls.
Did Luke Kristoff say anything about not wanting you to tell people?
Yes, I think he wanted to instill fear in me, to make me scared.
Why did he want you to do that?
Because if I was scared, I wouldn't want to go to the cops. I wouldn't want to tell anyone out of fear for my own safety.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Prosecution, do you have a cross-examination of this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Mr. Kennedy, you did not initially disclose to the jury why you were in jail, did you?
No, I did not.
Do you want to disclose that now?
Yes, I was in for identity theft.
And you have a history of stealing and committing fraud, is that correct?
Yes.
And you've had your run-ins with the law, do you agree?
I have-
Objection, relevance.
Objection, this witness is not on trial.
He's not on trial.
Sustained.
Mr. Kennedy, you were convicted of credit card fraud in 2011, correct?
Objection, relevance. Jamie Kennedy is not on trial today.
I'd like to hear why we are asking the question, counsel.
The jury is entitled to know about the relevance of the credibility of this witness.
Well, I will say he has already been sworn in, so I am going to overrule the objection.
Mr. Kennedy, did you know Connor Hastings?
No, I did. Yes, I did.
And you met him on gambling cruises?
I have.
And you described him as reckless, correct?
Yes.
And you said he was often on a tilt and losing money, right?
True.
Objection, improper character evidence.
I am going to overrule the objection since you had already argued that you would like him to testify to these matters.
So your opinion of him, of Connor, is based on those gambling encounters, correct?
Yes.
And is it true that you taught him about the different ways to scam money from people and businesses without them even knowing?
Yes.
Objection.
Counsel, are we going to quickly get to the point? We seem to be going a little further than I thought you would go. You're going to connect the dots for us in the next question?
In the next few questions.
I will allow one question, and I will overrule the objection for now.
And how long did you talk to Connor when you taught him about scamming money and people from businesses? Or scamming
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the objection?
Foundation.
Just
This
laid the
is his
foundation
one
in the last
question
question.
I'm allowing, so I will overrule the objection.
No further questions.
And defense, I'm assuming you have a redirect of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Then you are free to step down. Thank you for your testimony. Do you have another witness that you would like to call to the stand, defense?
Cindy Young.
Okay. And Ms. Young, I would just like to remind you, you have been sworn in to tell the truth.
Can you say your background for the jury?
I have my PhD in criminal justice, and I'm well recognized as an expert in organized crimes.
Ms. Young, could you just get a little closer to the microphone so everyone can hear? Thank you.
How did you get into this case?
Detective Finch provided me with information on this case.
Can you tell me, from your personal opinion and professional opinion, what you found in this case?
Can you restate the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say your background for the case? What connects the case to?
Counsel, you asked a question. I would like the witness to answer before we move on.
I already answered the question. Yeah, he answered it.
Answer again, please.
I have my PhD in criminal justice,
Objection,
and
Your Honor, asked and answered. She just said the same thing, Your Honor.
Yes, I agree, but you were a little late on the objection,
Sorry,
so
Your Honor.
I am going to overrule.
Can you tell me if you found any connections to organized crime in this case?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
Since she is being an expert witness on this case, I will allow for the testimony and overrule the
May
objection.
I reply, Your Honor? She has not claimed that she's done an investigation for this case, Your Honor. She's only claimed that she looked over a few things, but never claimed that she actually did an actual investigation.
Counsel, she did say that she was asked to be part of this by Detective Finch, so I will allow it. Overruled.
Do I have to ask the
Can you
question?
repeat the question?
What connects this case to organized crime?
Typically, men and women that commit organized crimes leave behind a certain signature.
What signatures did you find?
After I reviewed the autopsy report, I found cigarette burns on Mr. Hastings' arms, and I found strangulation wounds on his neck.
What are those signatures typically found in?
In organized crimes, usually committed by the mob.
And that's what solidified your conclusion this was an organized crime.
Yes.
Who has those certain signatures that you found?
Lou Christoph.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
There is no way to 100% determine that Lou is part of organized crime, is there?
No.
You can't guarantee that this was done by organized crime, can you?
After studying for so many years, I know the evidence
no,
of
please?
organized crimes.
Yes or no, please?
Can you restate the question?
You can't guarantee that this was done by organized crime, correct?
No.
You have been to Magnolia's before, correct?
No, I haven't.
Do you remember making a witness statement prior to today?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I have permission to approach the witness?
Yes, defense, would you like to examine this first?
What? Yes.
Are there any objections to her?
No, Your Honor.
I thought you meant when I collected evidence. My bad.
On this, can you please read lines 59 to 64, please?
Do you want me to start here?
Just
Okay. On the night I was there, I saw some guests. Sorry. On the night I was there, I saw some guests in my own dinner party experiencing problems with their meals. To my surprise, Lane King, one of the owners, came over to our table and comped the entire table and not just the ones having a problem. Comping entire tables can create large revenue losses and shows a lack of business sense. If King handled issues like ours every time something minor happened with a meal, Magnolia's would be out of business quickly.
So I will ask the question again. Have you been to Magnolia's before?
Yes.
So you're familiar with the defendant?
Yes.
And the defendant comped your meal from time to time, correct?
Only that one time.
You spent only 4 hours reviewing this case before making your decision, correct?
Yes.
You were never hands-on with this case, correct?
No, I was not.
You never went to the crime scene, correct?
No.
So your conclusion is solely based on photos that the crime scene techs took, correct?
And my experience studying organized crimes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
And defense, do you care to redirect this witness?
No, no. No, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony, Ms. Young. You may step down. Do you have any additional witnesses that you would like?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Lane King to the stand.
Okay. Mr. King, just a reminder, you have been sworn in to tell the truth.
Lane King, can you take us through can you take us through how Magnolia's got started?
I met Connor at Southeastern Culinary Association.
and we became good friends. And he talked to me about starting a business, and that been a dream of mine. So
What did that mean to you?
it meant a lot because it was a step towards starting my own business and restaurant.
Now, when you were pursuing your dream and you heard about missing money, how did you react?
I was very angry, as anybody would be, you know, who would lose a lot of money.
Despite angry words that may have been said, would you ever harm Connor?
Never. I would never harm anyone, not over money, not over like anything. Killing is not a, you know, a thing of that I would do.
After you learned of the missing money, why did you purchase a new padlock?
Connor actually was the one that gave me the idea because employees, you know, he said to make sure employees don't have sticky fingers was what he said.
Now, I know it may be hard for you, but can you walk us through what happened the night of March 25th?
March 25th, me and Connor was talking about him and his situation for the money, and later on led to me telling him the idea I had of him telling the police about Lou and the loan sharking, because you know that was the situation. And we went inside, we talked. Then he stayed to work on, you know, the menu for next week. He said he was gonna stay in and lock everything up, so I said okay. I left through the back door. It's about 50 feet away in the shadows. It was a black Cadillac in the shadows with a person standing outside of it.
You left through the back door, correct?
Correct.
Now, how did you react when you found out about Connor's death?
It hurt. Connor, even though, you know, we had our disagreements on the situation with money, that was a friend of mine, you know, somebody not as seen as just a business partner, but as a friend.
I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. King.
Thank you.
What did you know about Connor's gambling debts before his death?
I know before it was the cruise, and it was like situations about him losing a lot of money, and he was like, "It's okay. It's family money, so it doesn't really matter."
No further questions, Your Honor.
Do you have a cross-examination?
Yes, we do, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. King.
Good morning.
I'll just jump straight into it. You resented Connor for having so much money at the startup of your business, correct?
Correct, but not in a.
Yeah,
you
yes
know,
or no would be suffice for
okay.
this, if possible.
Yes.
You emptied your life savings to put up startup funds, correct?
Correct.
If Magnolia's failed, you would have filed for bankruptcy, not only for your business, but for your personal life as well. Isn't that right?
Correct.
So it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say this business means more than anything to you. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Now, you mentioned earlier you and Connor had a buy and sell agreement, correct?
Correct.
And you're thankful for it because it not only saved the business, but saved you. Isn't that true?
Objection, speculation.
Your Honor, would I like to go to his witness statement where he stated this?
I will allow it and overrule, as this is directly related to the case.
Thank you, Your Honor. And as you stated in your witness statement, now you see it as a way of Connor making things right. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Now I'd like to direct your attention to March 17th, and you may take your time, Mr. King. I know this is hard for you. Joe Walker broke the news to you that Connor Hastings had been stealing money from Magnolia's, correct?
Correct.
And you were angry, weren't you?
As anybody would be who lost a lot of money.
Is
Yes.
that a yes?
Correct. Correct.
And you said you were going to make Connor pay for this, yes or no?
Correct.
And you stated he wouldn't make a fool out of you, yes or no?
Correct. But these are all words out of anger, you know.
A yes will be suffice.
Yes,
or a no?
correct.
Thank you. You even lost sleep over it, isn't that true?
Yes.
Now I'd like to direct your attention to March 25th. And like I stated before, this may be hard for you. You concluded that Magnolia's, your dream, would have been closed, correct?
Correct.
You and Connor argued that night, isn't that true?
Sustained.
Okay, so
We
yes.
will withdraw that question.
And you never saw anyone outside while you were arguing, correct?
When we first went outside,
Is that a yes? or
correct.
no?
Correct.
because it was downpouring rain. Isn't that right?
Correct.
And you never reported this conversation to the police, correct?
Correct.
But after Connor was murdered, you reported seeing someone. Isn't that right?
Correct.
You did willingly give fingerprints to Detective Finch. Isn't that true?
Correct.
And the fingerprints were found on the kitchen knife. Isn't that true?
I work in the
Is that a yes?
my restaurant, yes.
The same kitchen knife that would have been ran through sanitizer earlier that evening, yes or no?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And would you like to redirect this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. In your witness statement, in line, you remember the conversation you had with the downpouring rain and everything. Why did you never report it to the police? Were you afraid of something?
Yes, Lou told me that
Objection, Your Honor, leading. It is leading, Your Honor, because he said, were you afraid of something? He's never stated previously that he was afraid of anything.
Sustained. Rephrase your question, counsel.
Why did you never go to the police about the conversation?
Connor had told me he was in debt with a loan shark, and I not only was scared for Connor, but for everyone's safety, including mine.
No further questions, Your Honor. Oh, wait, one more question, Your Honor, if you don't mind.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Just one? Okay.
Was someone with ill intent leave fingerprints behind on a padlock?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Overruled. I think this is key to the case, and his life is on the line, so you may go ahead and answer.
Thank you, yes.
Or a knife? Was someone ill intent purposely?
Oh, you said with someone? No.
No, same with the knife?
Same with the knife, yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
That was 2 questions, but thank you. Okay, you may step down.
Thank
you for your testimony.
Your Honor, we asked that closing not be timed because we have so much time left, Your Honor.
Yes, so granted. And I will allow about 5 minutes for both sides to gather their thoughts if needed. Do you need any time
No, I
to
don't,
do
Your
that?
Honor.
Okay, then go ahead and proceed. You may.
Premeditation disguised as desperation. In this courtroom, you have heard a tragedy framed as sympathy. The defendant had every reason to be angry. As he said, who wouldn't? His business partner was stealing from him. Their restaurant, their livelihood was at risk. Money was disappearing and trust was gone. But anger alone doesn't convict someone. But what matters is what the defendant chose to do with that anger. He didn't seek help. He didn't remove himself from the situation. He didn't try to resolve this lawfully. Instead, he positioned himself in the one place he controlled completely, Magnolia's. A place where he knew the layout, he knew Connor would be, a place where no one else was present, and finally, where he could confront him alone. That's not a coincidence. That's preparation. You heard from Joe Walker, who attested to the defendant being enraged after breaking the news to him on March 17th, and hearing from the defendant threatening to kill Connor while he was confronting him alone, the last night Connor was seen alive. Then you heard from Lou Christoph, who isn't on this bench today as a suspect. He's here as a witness, who attested to seeing the defendant argue with Connor, which led to him threatening him with the kitchen knife. Then finally, you heard from Alex Finch, the lead detective in this case, who testified to only the defendant's fingerprints being on the crime scene. He also gave his expert opinion as to why this not only wouldn't, but couldn't be a mob hit. The defense has presented you with 3 witnesses who all want you to believe this case isn't about the defendant. They want you to look at a loan shark, at a shadowy mob, at anyone but the man sitting in this courtroom today. They tried to shift your focus to Lou Christoph, to the idea that Connor Hastings was caught up in something bigger. But when you examine the claim closely, it doesn't hold up. The only person that told you Luke Kristoff could have possibly killed Connor Hastings is Jamie Kennedy. Or is that even his real name? I'm not sure. He got on the stand and admitted to being a convicted criminal, someone who's currently in jail for identity theft, whose own history shows a pattern of dishonesty and confusion, someone who has time and time again forgotten facts in serious situations. You've heard from Sidney Young, who was supposed to be considered an expert witness in this case, but they only looked over the case for 4 hours before giving their opinion, but also never physically saw or examined any evidence. And finally, you heard from the defendant himself, who testified today that he was not sleeping, that the situation was consuming him, that everything he had worked for, his restaurant, his future, was slipping away, that his desperation was eating at him, because the same dream that he had invested everything into was being taken from him piece by piece. How did that make him feel? Not confused, not afraid, angry. The defendant's own admission shows his state of mind. The physical evidence shows his actions, and all together, they form a complete picture of Connor Hastings being put into that freezer. Ladies and gentlemen, the law requires that the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant Lane King killed Connor Hastings. And now we ask that you find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of first-degree murder. Thank you.
Defense, would you like to take 5 minutes to prepare? Are you ready to begin?
Take 5 minutes.
Okay, so granted. Yes, we would direct the jury to not discuss. After the closing argument of the defense, the audience will discuss amongst themselves and you will arrive at the verdict. We didn't, yes, that would be fine. Would you like one? Do you have objections to the prosecution having, okay, yes, that would be fine. I would just like the defense to know you've got 2 minutes remaining. And you have 1 minute remaining. Yeah, quite. And we are at time. All right. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we stand here today, not just about what happened. Today we stand here today about what happens when dreams that you worked for your whole life are crushed. Dreams are a fragile thing. This man worked his whole life for an opportunity to own his own restaurant, for that restaurant to thrive and prosper. But due to unwilled trust, those dreams were betrayed. Now you may ask yourself, why is this man standing here today? On faulty evidence and a story that was put together by pins and needles and strings. Of course his fingerprints were on the knife. He's a cook at the restaurant. This man stands here is innocent. This was his dream. And if your dream was taken away by someone you trusted with everything, you would feel the same way. But that does not mean that what he said when he was angry and his emotions equal a death sentence that he carried out. That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
As my counsel has stated, you would feel the same way. You would be angry. But the distinction between Lane King and everybody sitting here today is Lane King acted on his anger. He took his anger and he used it as motivation, and then that turned into premeditation. And as my counsel also stated, he was desperate. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. At this moment, we would ask that the audience, who is serving as the jury, would consider the evidence that's been presented. A reminder, this is a first-degree murder trial. You must be 100% sure, no doubt, in order to convict. And we do want to remind that a conviction is a life sentence. Not just a life sentence, but death penalty for Mr. King. So do please take this with all sincerity. We also ask that the jury confine themselves to those who have been here for the entire trial, those who didn't just walk in or some who had missed parts of that. Taryn here will circulate and take account and will come to me when we have arrived at the verdict. Thank you for your service today. A redirect. Do we have a verdict?
So it's not unanimous. It has to be unanimous. This is a death penalty.
Yes, we do not have a unanimous verdict yet, so we will give 5 more minutes for the jury to decide.
He's innocent, I promise.
5 minutes, and if it's not. Doesn't, they,
He would never.
they don't. Right, it's a death sentence.
Sean. Sean. I know you've seen, bro. I know you're good, bro. Your Honor.
Okay, okay, 1 more minute. Jury, you have 1 minute to make your final decision. Counsel, please refrain from talking to the jury. Counsel, you're crossing a line.
She's being nice.
I hope so. Okay.
She's a delegate.
Do we have a verdict? Okay. Okay. Council, could you please be seated? Mr. King, we do have a decision. Could you please stand with your counsel? In the case of first-degree murder, Mr. King versus the state of Mississippi, we do not have a unanimous verdict. Therefore, you have been found not guilty on the charges. Would the jury like to share any of the reasoning behind what they came to? Taryn, do you want to maybe circulate the mic? And
I just want to say before the jury goes, we really do appreciate you guys. This is very hard from a prosecution standpoint because we do understand there was not a lot of pinpoint evidence, so we do appreciate you guys. I would expect it to be not guilty, to be completely honest.
I appreciate y'all too. Appreciate y'all.
First, I thought,
Could we hear from the jury, please? No, thank you.
at first, I thought maybe he was guilty, but then I thought to myself, I'm not sure enough that he's guilty to sentence him to death, so I changed it to not guilty.
Okay, thank you. I needed to say that, Seth. Any other observations or things that you'd like to share or feedback for either side? They would love to hear it. This is their first competition, so they would love to hear your feedback. Great, thank you. And we would love for you to join mock trial next year, any of you, please. Like this is fun. Yeah.
Sunil gets to say a lot more. So I would say to the defense team, you had a lot of opportunity, a lot more opportunity to sow doubt. There was a lot of gaps in the case, right? I mean, I agree with you. This is probably theirs to win or theirs to lose. What the heck happened for 20 to 50 hours? We never talked about that or never heard anything about that. So there's a lot of things like that where you could have just like, hey, you know, who else was in the freezer for the last 50 hours? Or even though there's a lock on it, or who else had a key or whatever. There was a lot of space and time where that wasn't filled. And unfortunately the prosecution didn't have, you know, anything to fill that time and space with. So I really enjoyed it. I haven't done and seen this kind of thing in a long, long time. So it was really awesome. Thank you so much for putting in the time and the effort.
Well, I think two parts. I think in terms of actual evidence, I think the jury was correct in that sense, because can't be unanimous in this case. But if we were to question as to who did you guys present a case, I did think the prosecution did a better job with the case. I think you were more on task. I think there were a lot of missed opportunities for you guys. So there seems to be coordination between that. Good to see. But congratulations on, I guess, winning the case, though.
Thank you.
I'm last, so I really don't have a whole lot more to add. Prosecution, you guys were ready to pounce and to go after them. where I felt like you all were a little bit more reactionary, like reacting to some of the things that were said and some of the things that the prosecution presented. But overall, very well done. This is nice to see, and hoping with the success of this that we can see more people and continue to see this grow.
Thank you.
Okay, so these two teams will now be flipping sides, and the week, not right now, Haley, I'm not throwing anything on you. But after next week, they're going to analyze the film, and they are going to make adjustments, and then the following week in our classroom on Monday and Wednesday from 11 to 12:15, they will be doing the case again. So if you have that time available and you want to come and watch and see how the prosecution does with defense and defense does with the prosecution, you will get a chance to do that. We meet in LTC 1 from 11 to 12:15 on Monday and Wednesdays. So it would be the week after next that we'll be beginning that. And like I said before, I would love to see all of you join mock trial, be part of this. We do have a scholarship built into the mock trial program, and we do have mentors who are attorneys who work with the students. As Taryn mentioned, the Kwans, Maureen Kwan from Cottingham and Butler, and her father actually are wanting to come to the class, and they've volunteered their time. So it's a great opportunity, whether you're pre-law or not pre-law. As you can see, these are skills that are transferable to any major, which is one of the reasons that we have started this program. So if you want to know more, you could talk to any of them. You could also talk to me. And there'll be a class again next spring. I'd love to see you in it. All right, thank you for coming.